Hey gang, what's up? Welcome back here to another edition of Intuitive Angling, and much appreciated you guys making a little time out of your day to watch the video. That's always appreciated. And today I'm going to show you guys what are the three main lures I always have tied on in the month of March. You know, if you guys saw the video I did yesterday, I was talking about the worst lures you can fish in March, and actually I was saying that there are really no worse lures because March is one of those months that everything works, man. It's just like there's literally not a bait in your tackle box, depending upon where you're at, that cannot catch them in March a little bit. So March is a very difficult month to pick out the baits that don't work. But anyway, what I want to do today is I'm going to show you guys my three confidence lures from the month of March, the ones that have really produced some good fish for me. And I'll give you guys a little short seminar on each one of them, how to fish them. Okay, right off the bat, we're going to talk about, first one that I always have tied on in March is a square bill crankbait. This is the Mega Bass S crank. Square bill crankbaits, guys, start to come into their own in the month of March. It's all about water temperature. Once your water temperature start to reach sort of that mid 50s, a square bill crankbait is a really good bait to catch big ones on. Now, the thing about a square bill is you have to have the right set of conditions for that. Now, the conditions to me for a good square bill bite in March, once you get that water temperature in the mid 50s, is you've got to have water visibility between, like, say, 15 inches to 2 foot. That's ideally with that. On top of that, you've got to have that right water clarity, and also you have to have the right type of day. For a square bill crankbait to excel under those conditions in March, in that water temperature, it's really important that you have cloudy day. Cloudy days with some wind to it is going to really make the fish fire up on this particular bait. What I'm doing with it is I'm paralleling banks. It doesn't matter if it's a sand bank, a gravel bank, a rock bank, a bluff bank, or whatever. I'm paralleling banks, and I like to stay on rock. Riprap, guys, is one of the top structures for square bill in the month of March. In fact, some of the biggest fish you're going to catch in March can come off riprap on a square bill, but you've got to have those right set of conditions. Colors, you know, I use a wide range of colors depending upon the water visibility. I prefer some type of a crawdad pattern like this if I can get away with it, but sometimes they like a shad pattern or some type of a perch pattern. You just sort of have to mix it up a little bit. Can't go wrong with a square bill. Okay, the second one is a giant, big, oversized jerkbait. This is the Mega Bass Canada. And by the way, guys, all these baits that I'm talking about here, you can get them at Bait Works in Springfield, and I'll include the I'll include the link in the description for each bait. If you use that link, it's a really good way to help the channel here. But they've got all this stuff there at Bait Works. Anyway, guys, oversized jerkbait in the month of March. Mega Bass Canada. This is almost a 7-inch long jerkbait. In March, guys, this is all of the giant bass that I've caught on jerkbaits in the month of March have come on these big oversized jerkbaits. And the reason why is, we've talked about this before, in March and April, the gizzard and the threadfin shad in all the lakes across the country are at their maximum size, because all those shad that spawned out the year before, they're mature, they're large. The shad haven't started spawning yet. They're going to start spawning in May. Therefore, the big jerkbaits are really good. Now, this Canada right here, what you want to do with it is you throw it out there and you want to fish it a little bit faster than you would a normal jerkbait. On a jerkbait that's this big, you don't want to like to suspend it and leave it in one spot a long time because it is so big. So I speed up my retrieve, and I don't start fishing this thing until the water temperatures are sort of like in that excuse me, 55 to 58 degree range. That's when it's going to be good. You're not going to catch much on this when the water temperatures are below 55 degrees. But again, it's sort of the same deal with the square bill. I'm looking for those nastier days, but I am looking for the cleaner water. I like water visibility of a minimum of 3 feet, and ideally I like it close to 4 to 5 foot visibility. But those cloudy days in March where you got sort of like the falling barometric pressure, you got a front coming in, you got maybe a 10 to 20 mile an hour wind, you can catch some giant bass on these big oversized jerkbaits like this Canada. And this is one that you guys hear me talk a lot about, that I fish all my jerkbaits on spinning rods. This is the only time I don't. These baits right here are just too big really to fish effectively on a spinning rod. So I'm usually using the Mega Bass 110 special bait cast rod, coupled up with like 12 to 15 pound test Seaguar and Viz X4 carbon line. And I'm not really interested in getting the max depth out of this. I'm trying to target sort of that 3 to 6 foot zone. So I'm fishing this thing on the bank in those pre-spawn type areas that the fish are moving up on. And finally, the third bait I'll usually have tied on is a big spinnerbait, guys, with a big trailer on it. Now this is the difference on the spinnerbait from anything else. This is the Bass SV3 spinnerbait, willow leaf combination. Actually, this is the 3/4 ounce model, and that's the one I prefer in March, is a big heavy one. This is just a small blade on here. I'll usually replace this blade with like a number 5 or number 6. But the big key in March is having a big trailer on it. You want a big profile spinnerbait. So my favorite is, this is that Zoom Z-Craw worm trailer on it, and I usually leave it about 6 inches long. I want a big profile for a big shad imitator, just like with the big jerkbait. Guys, a big spinnerbait in March, you're gonna catch your giant bass on it. You know, it's the same type of deal. You're looking for those rocky banks, a little bit steeper banks, a little bit off-colored water, and those nasty rainy type days. And the good thing about fishing in March, guys, is we get a lot of those days out there that it's like it is right here. You can check it out. You know, March today, it's cloudy, rainy. We get a lot of those type of days in March, and that's when I like to fish these 3 baits, is in those nastier conditions, you know, southerly airflow, rain, that type of stuff. So anyway, guys, that's the 3 baits that I have on in March. Is the big oversized spinnerbait with the big trailer, big giant jerkbait like the Canada, and an S crank, big square bill crankbait, and they will catch you some good fish. So talk to you guys later. See you.